Hello, and welcome back again to Let's Play Screeps. It's been a while since I played, but kind of itching to play a programming game again. So the first thing, let's install the dedicated server, install the latest Typescript Starter Kit, get the auth working so we can upload our latest code to the new stuff. There's a lot of gotchas in this process. I'm hoping this will be useful to walk people through how to set up a dedicated server, since I spent the last few hours trying to figure out all the workarounds and work past all the issues. So to get started, let's go to GitHub Screeps. And then if you scroll down, there's some steps you need to do. Now it does have prerequisites, so make sure you have Node.js version 8 or higher and Python 2. And then we basically just need to run these steps. You do not need to clone into this directory or anything like that. Open up a command prompt. We'll go to our drive where we're putting all this stuff. So fresh Screeps directory. We'll make a directory for a server. Go in there. And then we'll run the first command. Actually, before we do that, let's quickly check that we have the right versions of everything installed. So let's do node -- version. I have version 8.11.3. Npm version. I have version 5.6 and npx version 10.2. So if you have any lower versions of those components, I do recommend you install the latest. I had older versions of npx installed, and that was causing me trouble. But once I got to the latest versions of everything, I think I actually had an older version of npm it was finding. So basically make sure all the components, even though you installed the latest Node.js, I noticed all these 3 components don't always update properly, so make sure you check the versions, otherwise this is going to cause you a headache trying to debug what the hell's going on. So let's first install Screeps into our server folder, and that will go fetch most of the components. I do recommend you look at the error and warning log at the end of this process to make sure it actually did it successfully. For me, there's an additional dependency I have to install manually. I'm not exactly sure why, but probably some other silly thing I did a while back on this machine. But here it's running Visual Studio. Oh yeah, make sure you have Visual Studio and Visual Studio for Windows installed, otherwise it won't be able to do this step if you're on a Windows machine. All right, and then if you read this log, it basically says, for me, it says, okay, AJV keywords requires AJV, but none is installed. You must install peer dependencies yourself. So you can do that with npm install AJV. And that will install that one. You can run install Screeps again if you want to, but it'll go pretty quick this time because it doesn't need to do anything. And then it'll basically say, skipping optional dependency. It can't find the package JSON file. I don't think that's needed. Seems to work fine without it. All right, so now we'll do the next step, the init step. And then it should prompt you for your Steam API key. And I'm not going to obviously show that on camera because it's a private key based on my Steam credentials. But you can basically get to it by clicking on this link right here. So I'm going to click on this link, and then I'll copy it out, and then I'll paste it into this step right here. You can type whatever you want in here, and then you can just go edit the file manually. Once you edit the file, once you've done that, then you can run the third step of npx Screeps start. Now, since I entered 1234, which is obviously the wrong key, I just won't be able to authenticate in, but it will start up. So I'm going to cut the video right here, and then I'm going to edit the file manually to change it. If you want to edit the file manually yourself, it's inside of the file is called .screepsrc right here, and it's this number right here. The rest of this stuff you don't need to change. You don't need to mess with any of this. This is all the defaults are good. So I'm going to fill this in with my Steam API key and close this file. Okay, we're back. So I'm running Screeps again, and the server has started. Now, there's another thing you can do. Also, you can run a command line interface, but you're going to have to open up a second command prompt to do that. And I do recommend you do this because you'll need to type commands eventually pretty soon. So if you go into Screeps server, wherever you installed it, and you run npx Screeps CLI, now you'll have a command line interface. Don't need to do anything there yet, but just note that's where it is. Alright, so next let's install the Typescript Starter Kit, and that will lead to the third one. So the Typescript Starter Kit is found at Screeps Typescript Starter on GitHub. If you scroll down, it says what to do. You need Node.js, we already got that. You need npm, we already got that. And you'll need rollup. So let's go and do that. So let's go make a new command prompt. So you'll basically need 3. And let's go make one called let's play Screeps. And this is where our actual code will be. We'll run this npm rollup command to install rollup. I've already got it installed, so it's quick. And then once you have those, then you download the source. And once you got that source, which is basically just downloading, this repo, you can clone into it if you want to. It's the same stuff. Then just extract that out into this folder, however you wish. All right, so there it is. Then we need to do 2 more commands. We need to do npm install and yarn. Let's see what version of yarn I got. I got version 1.7. If anyone cares. Alright, so now this is all done. Now to configure it, there you go to the folder, and there's a file here called Screeps sample JSON. You can copy or rename that one, doesn't really matter. Rename that to Screeps JSON. And now you're going to notepad this, and now you have 3 configurations. One for the main server where you enter your token if you want to go talk to the real server. One for the simulator if you enter your token if you want to talk to the real server, Screeps.com. And then the one we're going to use called private server P server. Now, one of the gotchas I stumbled across is this says email, but it's actually not your email, it's your username. So my username in this private server is going to be Karate Snoopy, and I'm going to put a weak password in because I'm not port forwarding, so it doesn't really matter. For hostname, I'm just going to put localhost, and you can leave all the rest the same. All right, that's filled out, so very good. Now you can go back to here, and then to use this thing, it's going to use rollup, which we installed earlier. So to use rollup, you have this command -c, which basically does a upload of the TypeScript files, a compile and a upload of the JSON of the TypeScript files into one of these. So we're going to use the dest of P server. Now, if you run that right now, it's going to complain because you cannot authenticate. It should give us an auth error somewhere. Yeah, so it's yelling about sign in. And the reasons why it's yelling about sign in is because of this line. To upload to a private server, you got to have this mod installed on your private server. So if we open up that link, it's going to take you to this GitHub webpage for this Screeps mod auth module. To install this, it's pretty easy. It just says install this, run this command in your server folder. Now I've had some trouble with this. Let's see if it gives me the same trouble. So I'm going to stop these guys first. Just control C them. I'll stop the other one. And then we will run this command that I copied out. And we'll see if it gives me more trouble. And if it gives me more trouble, I think I know the workaround. Yeah, no, this is really weird. Now, if you notice, look at what it said. It said it added 11 packages and removed 421. That's really bad. I certainly don't want it to remove 421 packages. I don't really understand why it's removing 400 packages. So it pretty much deleted my server. But no worries, I can just install it again. It's just annoying. So it's almost like you need to install the Screeps mod auth package first. I really don't understand why it's removing And obviously, if you try to start the server after you install this auth package, it's just going to fail miserably. But we'll just go through the server setup process again, since it's fairly fast. I don't believe you need to re-enter the Steam API key because that file doesn't get deleted. It's just the npm packages that get wiped. It's just like, for some bizarre reason, npm is, see, it added 419. For some bizarre reason, it's deleting a ton of packages in here when I installed the server mod auth. But it's not changing this file, which is where my Steam key is. So anyway, it should work properly now. So now I can do npx Screeps start. Oh, the other thing it doesn't do, and these instructions are kind of bad because it does not update your mods JSON file. So if you go look at your mods JSON file, there's nothing there. It's blank. Let's go look at the example one and see what that says. Yeah, so the example one basically says, okay, in order to run a mod, you need to give it a pointer to a JSON file. So we need to edit this mod JSON file as well, otherwise it's not going to register. In order to do that, you basically need to add this line right here, which is basically pointing into, the way you can figure that out is you go into here, and it's the index.js file. It's that what I have highlighted right there. And then I just added double slashes. So you just save that file. Now you're good to go. Now you can run npx Screeps start, and hopefully it'll start up correctly. Now what you need to do is go back to that command line guy I talked about previously, and now you should be able to run set password. And then it should say usage set password, username, password. And if it doesn't show this, then you probably don't have it configured correctly. You probably don't have the mod installed correctly. Because this is a new feature of the mod, this set password thing. Now again, this is wrong. It's not just your desired password. It's actually username password. So we're going to do, again, the same thing we typed before, Karate Snoopy and 1234. Now notice right here, it's blank. Now the reason it's blank is because it doesn't know the user Karate Snoopy yet, because I haven't launched the game. So we got to fix that. So let's launch the game, and we got to jump into our private server as the game to go create the user on our private server. So let's go connect, and now my player name. Now if I'm on my private server, I'm creating a Karate Snoopy user. I don't need to give it an email because it's not used. Let's register that. Choose some random symbol. Doesn't really matter. Choose some dumb starting location. You don't really need to do this. Okay, then and then you're set up. Now you can go back over here and then run that again, and it should say modified :1. Now you're good to go in terms of running rollup. So let's go run rollup, and then you should see all green. Now if you jump back over to the game, if you jump to the branch called main, that's where it's going to dump everything. And the reason it dumps it into main is because of the Screeps JSON file right down here. You can also set this to the word auto, and that's good if you have a Git branch. And auto will detect what branch of Git you're in and then jump it to that branch. So if you want to work that way, you can have these branches mirror what Git branch you're in. I don't think that complexity is worth it, but so just choose something, default or main or whatever you want it to say. It doesn't really matter. All right, so then this is what basically it outputted. It's outputting like some crazy JavaScript file. And the reason why it's crazy is because if you go look at the code, it's pretty simple, but it's including this error map, which is basically wrapping all the errors that you output that the game can throw, and then it's looping and then doing this tick. You can delete that if you really want it to delete it, but it should say the tick now. And then if you want to update it, you can say game tick. Now you can say hello world. I'm not going to use Notepad++ as my editor. I'll switch to Atom in a second. Save that. And then you just go back over here and then roll up again. And then and magically updated. I think the game will ask you if you want to update or always update. Just say always update. And then the code's updated, which is pretty sweet. And then, of course, you can launch Atom. And then open up the project. Let's close this project down. Let's see. This is an older project I was working with. How do I get rid of this one? Remove project folder. Alright. This is tabletop sim stuff I was doing. Tabletop sim is pretty fun. Alright, so let's add that project folder. Go to Let's Play and then Source and open up that. And here's our code. Now we can say Hello World 2, save it. And now you can go back here and roll up again. And it'll be updated. Now you can also do -CW, which is a rolling watch. Now it's going to watch every time it changes, which is kind of sweet. I haven't played with this enough to know if it's great yet, but in theory you just save the file and then it'll just magically push it because it detected a change. When I was playing with Screeps a while back, I noticed this kind of watching system didn't work very well, but I was using another watching system called Grunt. And that's another watcher, similar to Rollup. But it didn't work very well because as you save things, it sometimes got confused, and then you'd spend a bunch of time debugging why the hell it didn't work. So I eventually just switched it to a hotkey in Atom where I could just hit the hotkey and it would upload. Kind of like an upload command, kind of like F5. That seemed to work better. And then also the nice thing about that is you can kind of edit a bunch of files, save them all. And then when you're ready, you can upload. Much more similar to Visual Studio's kind of F5 feature, compile. But that's about it. Hopefully that helped. There's a lot of gotchas I found on trying to get this thing to work. But maybe I'll submit some pull requests to that server mod auth. I think this is kind of the worst offender. I probably should just edit it. But anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time.